Keto chicken nuggets are what we've got cooking today, and it's crazy just how close to normal chicken nuggets these low carb ones turn out. Honestly, they remind me a lot of the chicken McNuggets that you'd get from McDonald's, and secretly I like those a lot. But where those have 25 grams of carbs for a 10 piece, these chicken nuggets have just 1 carb. Now, with that said, before we get things started, I do want to let you know that today's recipe, it is sponsored by Isopure Protein. We're going to be using their unflavored protein powder as an integral part of our keto breading for these chicken nuggets, and it's just one of the ways that we're going to be keeping the carbs so low in the recipe. Anyway, I think that's all I got for you guys. This intro has been long enough. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the good stuff. Make some super delicious, low carb, keto chicken nuggets. So the first thing we're doing is making the breading. And to make that, we're going to start by adding around 150 grams, which is about a large bag of pork rinds, to a large Ziploc bag, and we're going to crush them up. Now, as you're seeing here, I decided to burn a few extra calories and crush them up manually, but if you got a food processor, you can skip the manual labor and just crush them up in there. Regardless of how you go about things though, you want to get them to be about the consistency of breadcrumbs. They should look something like this, and then when you've got them looking good, you can start adding some seasonings to them. And with that said, the first thing we're going to add is a 1/4 cup or 20 grams of some freshly grated Parmesan cheese, followed by a heaping teaspoon of garlic salt, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of paprika, a pinch of chili powder, and then lastly, a pinch of black pepper. Now, we're just going to mix all those ingredients up until combined, and then we're going to set them aside and work on the rest of the components of our keto chicken nuggets. And as you're seeing here, the next step is getting our egg wash ready. So to do that, we're going to add 2 extra large eggs to a bowl and then whisk them until the yolks combine with the whites. Then when that's happened, we're going to set those aside and get our Isopure protein powder together, which is actually going to be the substitute for what would be flour in this recipe. And the great thing about this stuff is that unlike flour, this has 0 grams of carbs, and it really is what gives these keto chicken nuggets their perfect consistency. It's the secret ingredient that sets this keto chicken nugget recipe apart from every other low carb chicken nugget recipe out there. Anyway, we're going to add a 1.5 scoops of it, which is around 45 grams, to a bowl. And then we're going to start prepping the chicken. Now, as far as how much chicken we'll be using for today's recipe, you want to use around 14 ounces or 400 grams of boneless, skinless chicken. And for me, that ended up being 3 chicken breasts. And just so you know, I always end up with about 30 or 40 keto chicken nuggets when I make this recipe. Also, if you end up with leftovers, these freeze incredibly well, and they also store great in the fridge too. So if you're looking for something low carb to meal prep during the week, these chicken nuggets can be an awesome recipe to use that for. Anyway, now that we've got our chicken ready to go, we're going to form a chicken nugget assembly line with the ingredients that we just prepped. And of course, the first ingredient in that line is going to be the protein powder, since it's taking the place of what would be flour. So we're going to thoroughly coat our chicken pieces in that protein powder, and then we're going to immediately transfer it into our egg wash bowl. And make sure you keep a wet hand and a dry hand during this process. As you're seeing, for me, my dry hand is my left hand and my wet hand is my right hand. And the reason you want to keep these separate is so that you don't make a mess and end up with breading all over your fingers and not on your nuggets. Anyway, the final step in this whole process is moving our chicken from the egg wash to our keto breading and then thoroughly coating it with that breading. Then once the chicken is thoroughly coated, we can get it on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and bake it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for around 12 to 15 minutes. Or we can cook these keto chicken nuggets in the air fryer, which is my preferred cooking method. And we can cook those in our air fryer at, again, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, but this time for only about 8 minutes. Then after about 7 or 8 minutes, you'll end up with some crispy, crunchy, and tender chicken nuggets like this. And you can add them to a plate and pair them with your favorite sauce. And mine at the moment is some low carb barbecue sauce. Anyway, that is how to make keto chicken nuggets. I hope you enjoy them. As always, check out the video description below for more info on them, and I will see you in the next one.